Well, hi. How's everybody? So we're going to do a little switcheroo here. Yes, we will get to the Lions. Well, you heard the open that Kenny played. And I got to just bring it up. I have to bring it up because the Pistons made a bit of history last night. And look, a lot of what I'm going to talk about at 3 with the Lions, I think every team in this town is in the same boat. And it's like at some point, you got to win some games. And I know some of you are going to disagree with what I do at 3, but I think it's vitally important for somebody in this town to put up a winning record. And the Lions still have an opportunity to do that, and whatever does or does not happen around that regarding their playoff chances, I have to live with. They blew the opportunity to control their own destiny. But I wanted to just open with this because I have to tell you, I've reached the end of the line with something. Last night, not that anybody watched, because the Pistons are horrendous. The Pistons made history. They were up 14 with 3 minutes to go on a Clipper team. Listen, the Clippers are gutless. This is who they are. They'll drop these weird games. They openly just quit, and they pack it up and go, we're on to the next stop. Or not. Kenny, here's my question to you. Since 1996, when teams are up by 14 with 3 minutes to go, there have been, I'm going to give you the total instances. You have to tell me the record of the teams. There have been 75 incidents of being up 14 with 3 minutes to go. What are the team's records in that time span?
Like the combined records of all of those?
Yeah, of the 12,875 sample size we have.
6 and whatever the other number would be.
How about 12,873 and 2?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You're one of the two now. And I understand the initial flippant response is, well, what do we care? We're tanking. No. Hold on. You can tank and still get better. You can tank and still learn how to win some games. Guys, you are not only the worst team in the league, you have the second worst point differential. You are arguably the worst defensive team I've ever watched in the National Basketball Association. You have one of your cornerstone players in Sadiq Bey having the worst year of his life. I mean, not even a starter anymore. The first overall pick from last year is dead. The second, your first overall pick this year can't shoot 40% from the field. And you're on pace to win about 16 games. And all of this points towards you're not learning how to win, you're accepting how to lose. And at some point, Dwayne Casey, who's now about 100 games under 500 as the coach here, has to be fired. Period. The Pistons haven't had a winning record since 2015-16. What are we doing here? And look, later on, we're going to talk about it with the Lions. There's an importance on winning games at some point. Now, I was all about tanking for a long time. I don't have a problem with it. But you cannot routinely pick in the top 5, 6, 7, year after year after year, get worse after year. Can't do it. Because you end up in a decade of death spiral. I got news for you. Obviously, they're going to have one of the 5 worst records in the league, maybe the worst this year. They're going to be atrocious again next year, and you're basically at a decade. Guys, it's not a rebuild at that point. It's not. You're wasting everyone's time. To blow a 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go, it's unheard of. 12,873 and 2. That is an infinitesimal outcome. And this team that currently sits at 8-28, they're the ones who pulled it off. You think it's good for the young players to pull that off? You think that's a learning experience? That's a clown car. And I sit here and I'm like, what is Dwayne Casey even doing here? Seriously. Who's getting better? What is this product? What is this core I'm building? Tell me. Killian Hayes still can't shoot 40%. Jaden Ivey can't shoot 40%. Sadiq Bey is horrific this year. What am I doing? And the trade deadline's going to come up, and I'll tell you what we're doing. We're trading Bogdanovich. You'll shop Bey for spare parts and spin the wheel again. I hated the Bagley signing. I'll hate it till the day I die, and here you are. And I get it. We're going to do a lot of football today, but there's no way I'm letting that go. There's no way I'm letting what went down last night go, and it's one of the few times I'll open a show with it. But you got to fire Dwayne Casey. And you got to bring in a new voice, somebody younger. No, that's not age discrimination. It's reality. And you need a new approach because I don't even know what this is. I don't know what I'm looking at. And again, when you go, am I sensitive to it? Yes. But look around town. Tigers haven't had a winning year since 15-16. Wings haven't had a winning year, 15-16. Pistons haven't had a winning year, 16. Lions haven't had a winning year since 17, right? What are we doing? I'm all for a rebuild. I'm all for tanking. I'm all for draft capital. I'm all for getting good players. But you can still do those things and not show your ass on a nightly basis. This Pistons team is grotesque. Tell me what these players are learning besides bad habits. They are by far and away the worst defensive team in basketball. You mean to tell me they're getting better? You mean to tell me they're learning good habits? What good habits are you learning offensively? It's an outright regression from a player who you thought could be a number 3 on a playoff team. I mean, Sadiq Bey is a complete afterthought now because he is horrific offensively. Jaden Ivey's a rookie, but guys, no offense, you will never be an effective player in this league shooting below 40%. Who are the players in this league you care about that shoot below 40%? Who? And what is Dwayne Casey still doing here? Like, what is his signature fingerprint on this team? They don't play defense. They're inefficient on offense. Specific players getting worse. And we're headed to what? 4th year in a row picking minimum top 7. And you're going to have one of the 4 worst records. It's getting to a point, I think you could win 4, 5, 6 games in a row. You'd still have a bottom 4 record. So I don't want to hear about tanking. I don't want to hear about it. And I know Cade is hurt. I get it. Hell, half of us hate Cade, so I can't even figure you out. The point I'm making is you can tank, you can have a bad record, but you can do it in a way that makes you feel like, okay, we're competing. Okay, we're laying the foundation for what we're going to be about. In what world are the Detroit Pistons just not about getting a stop ever? Guys, I swear to God, every night I look up, they're giving up 130 points. They're the worst defensive team I've ever seen. What is Dwayne Casey? What would you say you do here? Seriously. I bring the TPS reports to the engineers. Like, we're going football primarily the rest of the week, but there is no way I could ignore last night. And I mean, you allowed the Clippers' backups to the backups to erase a 14-point deficit with 3 minutes to go, which has only happened twice since 1996 in the National Basketball Association. Twice in a quarter of a century. 12,873 and 2. You were supposed to be one of the 12,873. Guys, my concern is the following. When you lose long enough, not only do you not remember what winning is like, but you accept losing as the norm. You accept the bad habits and the outcomes as the norm. You cannot have an endless rebuild. You're living it with the Tigers right now. Now, the Wings are showing life. The Wings are in a tough spot. The East is brutal, but the Wings are going to flirt with 500. Flirt. Probably fall short. Harder to win games later in the year, but they're going to flirt with it. The Lions have an opportunity to have a winning record, and I think it's important. I don't think it's good enough to flirt. They have an opportunity now, have a winning record in division, have a winning record overall, and we get the scoreboard watch and maybe slip into the playoffs, where I would tell you right now, as the 7th seed, I would pick you to beat the Vikings. Full stop. Don't even want the points. But the Pistons are a trash fire, okay? The Pistons and Tigers are just something else. Now, Scotty Harris just got here. He's got a lot of cleaning up to do. But this deal, what we're looking at with Weaver and Casey, guys, come on now. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, at what point am I allowed to say it's not good enough? You can lose. You can have high draft picks, but you got to do it in a certain way. And I will not accept that this team is going to give up $130 a night. Olay defense everywhere. You may as well have the starting 5 dressed up as matadors and bullfighters. And I'm sorry, but Dwayne Casey's big gig has got to be developing youth. Not seeing it. Sorry. And guess what's going to happen with the trade deadline? You got to trade Bogdanovich. So the great deal you signed, we thought the team would take a step forward. Oh, but Cade got hurt. I get it. That doesn't mean you win 15 basketball games in a season. Okay? Not looking like this. Not with Jaden Ivey shooting 37% from the field. Not with Sadiq Bey not being able to hit a bull in the ass with a beach ball. And Killian Hayes, I understand it, the defense, he's passing the ball well. Guys, he can't shoot, okay? He can't shoot. I've tried. I'm patient. I'm trying. Come on. What are we doing here exactly?